Well, good evening, Thomas.
Hello, Mike.
I want to thank you again for joining me on this Friday's episode of our mini series on watching things for the first time. We started this with TNG, The Next Generation, with your first watch through, and now we have evolved to Strange New Worlds. But before we get to that,
Yes.
I have to talk about our awesome YouTube channel, and say, please, like, comment, and subscribe. We'd love to hear your opinion. We have 3 shows a week now. We have a main content on Sunday, Mondays, and then on Wednesday we have our grab bag, and then finally we have our Friday end of the week episode where we cover a couple episodes of Strange New Worlds. And with that being said,
What's usually in the grab bag?
Usually comic books, some YouTube recommendations, rifling around there. Sometimes we'll pull out some current news that's relevant, and then we'll cover that. Sometimes spicy things. There's a lot of crossover.
And I hear sometimes we actually morp a little.
We do. It's Morbin time.
Yes. Yep.
And with that, I'm Mike Shaw, and this is my co-host Tom.
Mhm.
And jumping with that all out of the way, we find ourselves this week for episode 3 and 4 of Strange New Worlds, which is a Alex Kurtzman Strange New Worlds. And I gotta say, I was hellaciously skeptical when you on the side, you actually started you jumped into this early before, and you were like, no, it's really good. And then we decided to cover it, and lo and behold, I have been surprised every single episode I see. I want to see more. I take this as a personal apology to myself as an original Trek fan, from the monstrosity that was the Star Trek Discovery, and the thing with Picard. I don't know. Some people like that, some people don't. But in any case, none of that matters because we have Strange New Worlds, and it is. Like I like the way I put it before, which is like it is definitely a Star Trek series through and through. There's a perfect amount of wonky. There's always like season 1 nerd wobbles, as I like to say, and this is no stranger. But as it goes on, the storylines get much more cohesive, and you find yourself in Trekland, and I love it. I love it for that. I love it that they gave me that feeling back. I didn't know that I would ever see that again. But I just high praise from that standpoint. I mean,
it's sort of a weird dichotomy in that you're getting stories that you would fit at home in an episode of the Next Generation or even the original Star Trek, but you've got the beautiful shine of a look of the J.J. Abrams Star Trek movies, but without the lens flare, and that just adds so much more to the look.
They definitely learned their lessons for the last 10 years or so on how to make a competent iteration of this. Finally, thank God. And the piggyback on that's a great way to put it. It really does have a lot of, and because we just covered season 1 of Next Generation, it does have that classic big Trek storyline, even the original series. But I love it because you have a strong captain like Captain Kirk, but Pike and Anson Mount does a friggin' awesome job, and his hair. I think is our running joke, or what everybody says. I think, but for the most part, it works. It's perfect for what it is. It doesn't take itself too seriously. It definitely knows how to do this. And this one, breaking into this one, they were attacked by the light monster, essentially, or the light monster. There's the classic Trek dichotomy of having like a group of people, like the not quite creature of the week, but like a planet, an effed up planet of the week kind of thing. And they did that a lot in Next Generation. There's this planet that they wanted to be part of the Federation, but they were prohibited because they did some no-nos with genetic engineering, and then we find ourselves based on that, and that's where kind of we find ourselves. But it just everything about this episode worked. It just it felt right at home. I felt like I never left. But and that
Yeah.
I'm eternally grateful as a Trek fan.
And I like the fact that they had the captain and Spock kind of trapped down by
Right.
themselves
In the
on the
archives.
planet.
Right.
Yeah, in the archives, and then the rest of the crew upstairs, so you could see
Right.
get a better understanding of the relationship between Spock and Pike and how they work together. And to be honest, I really like the guy that plays Spock. He is Spock to me. Yeah,
Yep.
obviously Leonard Nimoy is going to be always the OG Spock, but
Right.
he
He does a
works.
great job. I agree.
He makes it his own. And I forget the name of the guy that portrays Spock in the movies. He does a competent job, but I often feel like he's mimicking Leonard Nimoy, doing a kind of an impression of Leonard Nimoy, whereas the Spock in this series is his own kind of creature. He's not the guy's not isn't doing an impression of Leonard Nimoy. He's kind of embodying who Spock is and doing it in a way that's true to himself. Um, yeah, Zachary Quinto. No disparaging remarks towards
Oh no, not at all.
Quinto. He does a good job of being Spock, but you're constantly thinking of Leroy while you're watching him. Whereas for me, this iteration of Spock is his own self. I don't know a better way of describing it.
I
He's
agree. The more I see him on screen, the more I love that character. And it's definitely one of the favorites outside of Pike, obviously. But I'm kind of getting a feel for the other characters. I'm not quite in that mode yet. But I will say that I think that they did. I think that so far from what I've seen, and we're only 4 episodes in, but I think that modern day Strange New Worlds Trek does a much better job of going deeper into some of and they piecemeal it. As you go through, you're learning more about the other supporting cast members, and you're seeing more about their origins. I like how they're doing it. They're doing a very good job of that, and I think that's something that Star Trek: The Next Generation fell down doing in some aspects for some characters. But that's in retrospect. That's a fair criticism regardless. But they know how to do this very well, and I'm excited to learn more about these characters to see who is going to become more in 1 second.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, and the number one, we learned a lot more about who she is in this.
Yes, we did.
Episode. Una is her name.
Yeah, Una. And there's a lot of Una. I don't know all the background for it, but I do know that there was Una is not a brand new character. I know that they borrowed from some previous episodes, but in any case, one second. I'll let you take it away while I take care of something real quick. 1 second.
Oh yeah, sure. So hey, Nerdum fan, it's me, your old pal Thomas. I'll do a little solo gig here. But yeah, Una, we learn that she's not quite human in this episode. That she's part of the genetically manipulated creatures that are humans that are on that are from this planet, and they're not supposed to be in with the Federation. And so this is a big secret that she's been carrying.
Right.
And yep.
Because she gets infected with the light virus or whatever, and then it doesn't take her long before she her superior immune system, as it were, comes out to kill it.
Zaps it out. Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. But yeah, I like I love the all the way to where it's just you have some really cool tight scenes with Spock and Captain Pike. As they kind of get to know each other more, and like you're also getting to know them as they do that, as they meld more.
And it's sort of it's a spotlight episode for Una, but they do a good job of splitting up time with her, and then also with Spock and Pike on the planet, so that even though it's her episode, you do learn more about each of the characters, and you also learn quite a bit about the doctor as well, who's sort of like, to me, it's kind of like one of the unsung heroes of the show. He's kind of got this quiet, deep nature to himself that really appeals to me. And then we find out there's a secret about him by the end of the episode as well.
Yeah, I gotta say, I was really impressed by just the quality. It's just quality that far surpasses anything that we got from TOS or TNG or Deep Space Nine or Voyager or even Enterprise, Scott Bakula's Enterprise. But I agree, like the nail the aesthetics, and I do like that. Just the okay, your Trek purists might quibble with the technology they have, but you know what? I don't care. It looks good. It works. I don't care. Nobody cares. Like, no techno babble. Nobody cares. Like, it's
as long as you get the characters right. Yeah.
It's
anything else is just
yeah. It's just
window
so cool.
dressing.
The tech side though is just cool.
I want. Right. Yeah, I want a view screen like that, man.
Right.
Give me that as a widescreen television.
Sure.
I'll be happy.
Fits. Yeah, it just fits. And then of course we have people shoving their faces in light sockets and that kind of thing, being attracted to light because of the light virus, like even almost to the point of destroying the ship with the warp core or something like that.
And I like the relationship between Una and I always forget the other character's name, the security officer's name.
I don't. She hasn't stuck out yet. Not yet, anyway. But
the girl with the tight braids on her head.
right.
Leanne, I guess is her name.
Yeah.
I kind of like her, and then the cocky lady at the desk that flies the ship. She's at enjoyable.
The con.
Yeah, at the con.
Yeah, it works. It all works.
And even though it's kind of top heavy with female characters, and nothing wrong with that. Each of them are very individualized and different. Like everything in Star Trek, and even Nurse Chapel. She's one of my favorite characters in that she's so quirky and weird.
Oh yeah, and that's when Trek is done right. When Trek is done right, Trek, that is a natural extension of Trek. When it's not being forced or shoved in a certain direction, there's no need to, because whether you have the first kiss between Uhura, the original TOS, and Captain Kirk, pushing boundaries, but that's the thing, is like, it doesn't trip over it can tie its shoelaces, and it doesn't it doesn't get it in the way, like where it's just annoying, and it's just like whatever. Storyline is first, and I'm happy to see that, but I was very happy with this one.
And we'll talk about it more in the next episode, which we may be getting to. I really love how the characters interact with themselves, and there's not that moment, even though it's top heavy with women, there's not that one moment where the women step forward, is like, step out of the way, man, I'll take care of this. There's
the message.
Right. Hear me roar.
Right, there's none of that shoved in your face or whatever. It just happened naturally because it's part of the storyline, and it's good. For crying out loud, keep doing this. Like, not that just ridiculous leaping over poor exposition and all that stuff. Like, don't tell me, show me.
And there's not a lifting up of a character at the expense of another. Each of the characters are very good at what they do individually, and what they do individually supports the team in different ways, so that and that's classic Star Trek, right?
It is in balance. You have your two or three primary characters, they develop, and then they kind of pull up others as they go on, and that's true throughout like I said, I think they're doing a fantastic job as far as introducing the characters one at a time and giving them their true depth and cause there. But with that being said, I think that brings us on to the next episode, Memento Mori.
My favorite so far.
It was really good. And it was, I love this because it again, they stuck to what worked for Trek. They cracked the formula, they got it to work. This one, we had the Gorn after them.
I've got a special guest for this episode.
You do.
I've got a Gorn.
Oh, hello, Mr. Gorn. Please don't eat us, or I'll throw a rock on your head.
No,
That's
it's
awesome.
yep, my amigo of the original Gorn.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I collect action figures.
You're
I am a
good.
nerd. I'm a nerd.
Hey, you're at home. You're at
I'm
home.
in the right place. Yeah.
You're in the nerddom. Yeah, and
Uh-huh.
then that won't be the first or the last that we'll see more action figures for sure. That's a whole.
Yeah, and I had a
idea.
big decision because I wanted to show him off, but then I had to take him out of his package.
Oh no,
that,
you
that
are
was
true.
that was the big debate. Yeah,
You're-
do I take him out of the package or not?
Well, I commend your sacrifice for no longer making that a collectible character. Although if you hang on to that, you never know. You never know.
Mm-hmm.
Mint condition, it might not be, but with original packaging, you never know.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the worst thing about toys is like if you wait too long, they get so worth more in package. So if you take a while before you take it out of the package, you got, oh yeah, that's I'm losing $100 there if I open that up. But I checked the prices on him, and he's still even in package, he's about the same price. So
okay. Yeah.
so if I get the urge to repackage him or get another one in package, it won't cost me too much.
No, not at all. You never know. You never know what's going to catch the fancy of what's going to stick around for sure.
Yeah. So this is the mighty return of the Gorn.
Awesome. Yeah, it is. They have they seem to have a pattern here where there's a crisis of the week. They get a distress call or whatever, and then they go investigate the colony, what have you, and they find some disturbing scenes.
Yeah, and this is as the other episode focused on Yuna, this one focuses on the security officer Laan, or however you pronounce her name.
I don't know. I'm horrible at pronouncing it.
Yeah, that's
the last
her,
person to ask.
She's up towards the top there, the Christina Chong.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Laan. Oh, yeah. Noonien Singh. Yeah. She's great. She's great. Yeah.
She really impressed. She's impressed me throughout, and then this being her focused episode, it really she shined. And one of my favorite scenes of this episode was when she went to Pike and she knew how they should handle the situation, and she was challenging Pike's command. But I love that tension between the two, where she's challenging him, but she's trying to get across emphatically what she knows needs to be done, but without overstepping her command in Pike. And I liked the give and take that each of them gave, so that neither one of them overstepped. And it was a kind of a beautiful scene in how the power dynamic should transpire. Whereas if it was handled differently current day, it might have been, hey, I'm a woman, I know better.
right.
No, this is how it should be done, and step away, man. But yeah, I loved how that was handled though.
Yeah, they did it, like I said, all things they know how to blend these things to where they keep the storyline front and foremost, and they don't deviate from it. And thank God they do that. Thank God they do that.
And it showed that he's the kind of captain that would take, even in dire situations where you have to take immediate command, he's one of those captains that would allow for someone to make a suggestion. He would listen to him, and that shows you him as a character, what he's made of, and what he'll allow for to in order to protect his crew.
Yeah, no, in perfect harmony, really. So they're trapped, and the Gorn get them. They get to them because of plot device. They can't get their shields up in time or whatever. So they wound them enough, and then they gotta figure out how they're going to respond to that. And I guess I'm not quite sure. They're orbiting some kind of way a dwarf star in a black hole or something like that. I don't know, whatever. That kind of was lost on me a little bit, but they figure out a good way to entrap them and trick them. That's classic Trek. And they even turn it into I believe they call it the Pike maneuver. And I won't give it away, but it's just like every other captain. I guess this is just another hallmark of a classic Trek show, which is like just about every other captain has their own, the Picard maneuver, I think Kirk did the
Kobayashi Maru.
Yeah, he was like one of the only ones to like conquer that or whatever. And anyway, they're supposed to be, a captain is supposed to be at the level to where they can think on their feet very well and develop tactics and strategies that will save the day. And that's no stranger. Again, this is even better than last. Like I said, they keep getting better. And I'm really looking forward to the next couple next week.
Yeah, and this one was a darker episode, and I really enjoyed the fact. I was gonna say I enjoyed the fact that there's a body count, but let me rephrase that. In that, I enjoyed the fact that it didn't lose its Star Trek-ness with having a body count. It was still, you could start killing off characters, and it wouldn't ring true as a Star Trek episode. Whereas this, even though it was a darker episode where crew members did die and you did see them die, it still always rang true as a Star Trek show. Yeah,
they didn't lose the spirit, they didn't lose the focus, they kept right on. I agree. And it's a much more serious, gritty take. I would agree.
Well, it's a grittier take, but a very bright and beautiful set.
It's still Star Trek like you said. Yeah, that's the perfect way to put it. Yeah, it had a body count, but it wasn't like it never crossed the line of ridiculousness, like where that's not going to happen. Trek, like they did it. They did it very well.
And I even though it was that Singh's character's main focus episode, where we got to learn a little bit about her backstory, you did get to learn, and it was it kind of showed a lighter side of the episode where Uhura was working with the engineer and learning that position. And she gets stuck there with the engineer, Himmer, and you get to learn a little bit more about the engineer, who I absolutely love. I love that character, especially on this episode and the previous one that we just talked about. I love the fact that his character is not your typical Star Trek character, in that he's not optimistic. He's kind of has he always has kind of a bit of a sour mood, and he has this attitude of being put upon whenever he's requested to rise to the challenge. But he always does rise to the challenge, but he always has to give a little bit of attitude and sass along with it.
And that's just, I believe Uhura had to complete some engineering because she's still cadet at this point. So she had to do like the engineering side as she gets her Starfleet officer feet, her legs experience up, and gets her walking legs on.
Sure. So she could understand, I guess, all the inner workings of the ship.
Again, that engineer side is played perfectly because you had Scotty, you had Geordi, you had you had gosh, I'm blanking on who the one was. It doesn't matter that there's an engineer that has an opinion and will give you an opinion and is competent beyond belief. And that again, perfectly executed. This is Trek to a T, but not in a formulaic way, like where some other science fiction series, like that all they can do is just kind of copy concepts and then repeat them to infinity. But this is like, when things go right, this is the end result of that. Like when they have good people that understand the spirit, and they play to it. Great acting. And do you know if this was announced for season? This is greenlit for season 2. While we're talking about this, like I don't think I heard anything, but I can imagine that they would say no to it. To a season 2.
I haven't heard yes or no, but yeah, you can. We've got the internet at our fingertips. We can
might as well
look that up. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Cool. Yep. Looks like it already is.
All right. Yep.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Yeah. Well, that's cool. That makes me happy. I'm easily amused. Anyway, but yeah, this was a great episode. I love, again, the visuals on this are stunning. I agree. You're right. It is the action, the level of quality from like a J.J. Abrams Star Trek minus the lens flare. They do justice to this. And again,
Yeah.
I don't care about the technical, and who cares, man? It works, you know.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah.
So
yeah, as long as you get, like I said, as long as you get the characters right, everything else is window dressing anyway. So
right. I mean, come on. Like you can't tell me that TNG or whatever didn't have some stupid far out what are they magic plot device that accomplished the storyline of the week or whatever. It happened all the time. So it's okay.
Yep.
It's okay.
Yeah. And even though Spock didn't have a whole lot to do in this episode, there was like a mind meld that he did that was interesting with that Singh character, and it you kind of learned a little bit more about Spock. And then
right.
I enjoyed the interactions between a stressed out Pike trying to figure out what to do, and Spock giving him the odds. And
right.
it kind of came across a little bit of like maybe Han Solo and 3PO giving him the odds.
right.
Like,
yeah, good.
Like
Thanks,
Pike. Pike kind of disregards a lot of what Spock recommends to the confused look on Spock's face.
yeah. If you were an android, he'd be reprogrammed, and his humor level would be brought down quite a bit.
which kind of makes me wonder if they're kind of, whereas Spock is a little bit more rigid in this, whereas in I guess the original series he's a little bit more flexible, you know. So maybe he learned it from Pike.
Well, and to be fair to the storyline and TOS, this is younger Spock. This is not this is not full on mature, you know, pretty balanced, good balanced Spock from the TOS. So he is going to be a little bit more harder or leaning into his Vulcan side or whatever until he kind of loosens up around being around humanity and whatnot, and embracing his part humanity. And yeah, that mind meld, there was like I'll be honest with you, I could have done without it. But just not from the standpoint of whatever, but from the standpoint of it was a callback to another series that the Discovery with Michael Burnham is supposed to be his whatever. I'm not going to get into it, but aside from that, like that's the only negative thing I could say. But that's just me personally, because I could care less about Discovery. And I it's just better that that we forgot that was ever made. But that's okay. That's okay. They can get away with it. They have they built up more than enough goodwill to save Trek. So it's fine. Whatever. Nothing's gonna be perfect, right?
Right. Exactly. We've got these lined up to do each 2 episodes a week, and then our final week we'll finally get caught up to episode 10. But yeah, I'm
absolutely
enjoying it so far.
Yeah, me too. And I'm happy that there's something great to watch, the sci-fi for sure, and even better that it's Trek. I'm really looking forward to 5 and 6 next week for sure.
Yeah, it's tempting to jump ahead, but yeah, we want to try to keep them kind of fresh on our on our memory though, so we'll kind of parcel them out.
Yeah, and we thank you so much for joining us this week. And if you have any commentary, or you have any suggestions, or what do you think of Star Trek Strange New Worlds? Are you following along, or do you like it? What do you like? What you don't like? We're all ears. We'd love to highlight commentary where we see it. So, and if you don't like it, let us know.
And to borrow terminology from a podcast that I enjoy, we know you're our loyal regulation listeners. We would like you to graduate to a comment lever. So if you want to kind of bridge the gap from being just a regulation listener and make your way to a comment lever, we would greatly appreciate that.
Indeed.
But if you want to just remain as a regulation listener, that's fine by us as well.
That's okay too. Yep, for sure. This has been Mike.
is Thomas, and my friend says Gorn out.
It's Morbin time.
It's Morbid time with Gorn.